One team are in, 13 spots remain. The race for the postseason is on. Just 6 points separated 5th and 13th in the East. And nobody was ready to rule out their chances in the West. We begin in Texas at Q2 Stadium, where Austin hosted LAFC.
It's right back from Mahala! Clockwork!
The Western leaders clinched their spot.
Precision from LAFC!
But the Verde and Black were hot on their heels.
Driussi bolsters his case for MVP. Oh yes! Oh yes!
Your commentators are Stuart Robson and Dan Roebuck.
That's a mistake, and suddenly it's Driussi that's in. It's awkward from Segura, and it's illegal, and it's a yellow card.
Well, Austin are trying to say this was an elbow.
Segura does go into the book, no more. Fagundes strikes it! Terrific hit! Wonderful goal by Diego Fagundes, and it's Austin FC that lead against the Supporters' Shield leaders.
What a strike this was. And he just wraps his foot round it, over the top of the wall, and the goalkeeper nowhere near it in the end.
Driussi with the Rabona pass for Urruti, but got too much on that, I fancy.
This isn't going to end well.
Well, the first was very forceful into the first row. The touch from Urruti was barely anything. There's a yellow card, and it's all kicking off, unfortunately. Kropo's come across.
Well, it's been feisty.
Another free kick. Fagundes to take to Curlin this time. Gareth Bale will flick away. And now Lima will take it on and looks to stand it up. Oh, yes! Diverted in. Urruti jumping at the near post. LAFC have conceded inside the opening 2 minutes of this second half.
That's a very good finish. Had to be aware he was beyond that near post. They really are in the box seat now.
Flick forward towards Urruti again. It'll run through to the Argentine. Wonderful! Real composure inside the LAFC penalty area. Urruti at the double. Austin have 3, and it's the Texans running wild here.
He has to defend that a lot better, Hollingshead. But give credit to Urruti. It's a very good finish. What a start to the second half for Austin.
This is Fagundes. Driussi looking to spin his man and find the corner! 4-0! Unbelievable! And the diamond that is Sebastian Driussi has done it again. Major League Soccer's leading scorer. Here is Chiellini. And this is Poku's just come on. We have seen Hollingshead play on the left before and as a left wing back. This is Vela. Poku will play the ball in. Big chance here. Terrific stop. The follow-up goes in. Arango, after Cifuentes is denied. LAFC have managed to get on the score sheet.
Cifuentes was the player that should have scored, and Arango with a volley in the end. Change of shape, maybe a change of fortune as well.
This is Arango breaking forward, though. It's still Arango. Can he finish? Oh, it's in the woodwork! But he was claiming he was brought down, pushed, pulled, shoved. This has been a special game at the Q2. Full time here. Austin 4, LAFC 1.
Really pleased and proud of our performance tonight. It's a massive win for this organization. you know, it doesn't get much better. Obviously, you're playing the best team in the league. To be able to present who we are as a club alongside LAFC and what the league is about is something to be proud of.
At Providence Park, the Cascadia Cup clash between Portland and Seattle had wider significance too. And when Yeimar put the Sounders in front inside 8 minutes, they were on course for a crucial victory against a playoff rival. But the Timbers hadn't been beaten in front of their home fans since May. They had some luck with this penalty call for a foul by Yeimar on Eric Williamson. The Colombians seemed to be pulling out of the challenge, but it wasn't clear enough to be overturned. And on the balance of play, it was no surprise Portland went in at half-time level through Dairon Asprilla. And the celebrations had barely subsided when they struck again early in the second half.
Into a dangerous spot, Asprilla there, and Blanco puts it in! The Timbers have come back to take the lead. It's 2-1.
Giovanni Savarese's side were deservedly in front, but the Sounders could still have left with a valuable point. Jackson Reagan's header, a golden chance. Brian Schmetzer was contemplating his 7th defeat in 10 games, confirmed when Alex Roldan's effort flashed wide. Portland had clinched the Cascadia Cup and taken a giant step forward in the bigger picture.
The third Cascadian side sat just outside the playoff spots for the Vancouver Whitecaps, but they were soon backpedaling at BC Place. No one halted Randall Leal's charge, and his shot was unstoppable. Nashville had kicked off above the dotted line in 6th place, despite just one victory in 7 games. They were well set for another success when Jack Mayer met Hani Mukhtar's corner. When the boys in goal do win, they tend to win big. They put 4 past Dallas last weekend, and when Mayer looped in another for his first career double, Vanni Sartini's hosts were really up against it. And 4 minutes later, they were a man short. Lucas Cavallini, introduced at half-time, caught Alex Wheel off the ball, and his cameo came to an end. A second look didn't help the offender's cause. 3 down, and with 10 men, the Whitecaps were probably ready to call it a night. Instead, they produced their best moment of the game. Pedro Vite's luck was out. And just before full-time, Vancouver were at full stretch once again, illegally so in the case of Tristan Blackman, whose foul on Jacob Schaffelberg needed confirmation by video review. With Mukhtar substituted, Dax McCarty stepped up, and Thomas Hassal denied Nashville a second straight 4-0 win. But overall, their longest road trip of the season had gone pretty well.
Wedged between Nashville and Vancouver in the Western standings were the LA Galaxy, who produced the perfect start to a cross-conference clash in New England. Daniel Aguirre's first MLS goal came in just the 4th minute, and within 15, they were 2 up at Gillette Stadium.
Chicharito's in, chance to make it 2, and he does!
The Galaxy had lost 4 in a row on the road, their place in the postseason no longer assured. But the Revs needed the points too, and DeJuan Jones came closest to pulling one back before half-time on a delightful return pass from Carlos Gil. As Bruce Arena would later acknowledge, his old club's finishing was simply better, though he'd make an exception for this. Gil inch perfect, but the Revs' recovery had come too late. A boost for the Galaxy, who still have 5 road games left in the regular season.
If the Houston Dynamo were to rocket up the standings, they'd need to start getting wins soon, an outcome they hadn't managed in their previous 5 games. At Allianz Field, they were second best in the first half until just before it ended. Corey Baird's contact wasn't clean, but it was good enough. A shock for the Loons, riding high after consecutive victories. Before the break, they'd wasted chances. Now they had to up the tempo. Franco Fragapane provided the burst of energy, but Luis Amaria's acrobatics were just awry. And as Minnesota pushed for an equaliser, gaps appeared at the other end. Sebas Ferreira's snapshot was repelled by Dane Sinclair. Surely a final warning for the hosts. And one they heeded, although for all their neat football, the leveller owed much to luck. Emmanuel Reynoso's free kick helped into the net by the unlucky Fafa Pico. But once they were level, the Loons relaxed, kept things simple, and got the job done.
Here's Benitez now into the penalty area. Isle serves for Amadia! Comeback complete!
After a scare, a third successive 2-1 win for Minnesota.
Back in Texas, it was third against fifth, as FC Dallas made a sharp start against Real Salt Lake.
And it's an early goal for Alan Velasco for FC Dallas!
When the two sides had met in Utah in July, one Dallas goal had been enough. But RSL were determined to avoid a repeat, Pablo Ruiz serving notice of his ability from long range. The Dallas keeper Martin Pass had evidently done his research, a terrific save to stop Ruiz midway through the second half. Dallas had bounced back well from a 4-0 drubbing at the hands of Nashville, but an equaliser from Anderson Julio meant the points were shared. Both still hopeful they can claim home advantage in the playoffs.
SKC had scored 11 goals in their last 3 matches, renewing hope of salvaging their campaign. But they still kicked off bottom of the Western standings and should have trailed inside 5 minutes. Jeremy Ebobasi dragging a great chance wide for San Jose. And 5 minutes after that, Sporting KC capitalised. Eric Tommy and Roger Espinoza developing an attack that fell kindly for Daniel Shallowy. After that, chances aplenty. The Quakes gifted a great one by Graham Zusi's stray pass, but Christian Espinoza couldn't beat John Pulskamp. Frustration for Alex Cavello, but another win for Peter Vermees, this time with just 1 goal required.
Disappointed, frustrated, embarrassed by the second half performance.
The fatal blow may well have been dealt to DC's playoff dream.
I think that's gone. Let's be realistic.
Atlanta could ill afford any more slip-ups.
Sosa, is he going to go for goal again? Yes, he is! And he's found the top corner!
We're going to make playoffs, and that's my belief.
Commentary comes from Sam Parkin and Phil Blacker.
Sosa to Almada, now Gutman. Good period of possession for Atlanta. Caleb Wiley might be able to make something of it. And Sejdic, good save. Ochoa didn't do enough to turn it out of play though, so there is still the threat, but he kept it away from his target impressively.
Oh, what a terrific save. It's a brilliant bit of direct wing play from Wiley. Just speeds up the game all of a sudden. Brilliant stop.
They've worked this really well, and there's the chance. Cisneros taking a bit of a swing at it. Both he and Wiley were in promising positions.
It falls absolutely perfectly for Cisneros, and he just dragged it.
They'll sense their chance here from the free kick. The very nearest the ball will be the favourite to take it. And he does, and he dinks it in. And it's repelled by Torretta. As far as Rodriguez. Keep the pressure on here, and it's a brilliant finish! Oh, a stunning strike right from the start of the second half from Ravel Morrison. His first MLS goal is one to remember.
The touch is perfect, there's no backlift, he kind of musters all the power he can from that position. That is just a moment of brilliance from Ravel Morrison.
It certainly does set up this second half, doesn't it? In comes the corner, it's 1-1. It did not take long. The response is so swift. Up from the back, the skipper, Alan Franco, has powered the header beyond Ochoa. Atlanta are level.
He just gets away from his marker, and then the header is as firm as you're going to see, flies into the corner of the net.
Some space for Nahar here, and it's going to hold up for him to reach it. In by Durkin, good ball! And the lead is restored. Ola Kamara in the middle got the touch to it. And DC back in front as the goals keep coming. And a stunning start to the second half story.
What a brilliant delivery. That is absolutely perfect for the striker. Fantastic stuff. And now Atlanta with it all to do once more.
Themselves back level once before. In short order, they need to do so again here. Brooks Lennon. Well advanced, time to luck up. Tries to pick out Joseph Martinez, who's been on a matter of moments and has come up with a crucial equalising goal. 2-2.
It's a brilliant delivery, and it's an expertly taken header. No pressure at all. Centre of the goal, 8 or 9 yards out. He's not going to miss from there.
Thiago Almada. Sousa stands over it because he knows that Brooks Lennon is beyond him. In by Lennon, and in by Purata. And Atlanta, who've been behind twice, are in front for the first time. Well, they're really showing their spirit. And one hope Purata is showing his threat in front of goal.
Purata up nice and early, in between DC United defenders, and it's a simple header in the end.
A thriller in the second half in Georgia, and it's finished here. Atlanta United 3, DC United 2.
I want to focus on the positives, and the positive is the heart and the good reaction from my team after conceding goals. We are always trying to attack, and that's what I highlight from tonight.
The Philadelphia Union were back at Subaru Park after their 6-0 win at DC United last week, and as it turned out, their superb form travelled with them. Inside 9 minutes, Daniel Gazdag fired them in front, and a long night for the Rapids was underway. Without a win in 3, Colorado had no answer to the Union onslaught, and to Gazdag in particular. Anthony Markonic's attempt to stop him fell foul of referee Alan Chapman, and the Hungarian stepped up for his 15th of the campaign. But Philadelphia are far from a one-man show at the moment, and the bewildered Rapids found danger coming from all directions. Olivier Baizo's surge into the box was halted by Gustavo Vallecilla, and the hosts had another penalty. With a hat-trick beckoning, Gazdag selflessly stepped aside with the same outcome.
Carranza, goal! 3-0 Union.
Julian Carranza surely settling the contest inside half an hour, but Colorado's hopes of damage limitation soon evaporated. The overworked Vallecilla upended Mikael Ur by the touchline. A second yellow card might have been a relief for the defender. But to their great credit, the 10 men then battled through 50 minutes of playing time without conceding again. It couldn't last.
Gazdag! Hat-trick!
Gazdag matched Carranza's treble from last weekend, but as at DC, the Union weren't finished. A strike by Jack McGlynn turned into an assist for fellow substitute Corey Burke. And in stoppage time, Philadelphia became the first team in MLS history to win 4 games by 6 or more. Matt Real joining the party.
Low shot goal! 6-0 Union!
Jim Curtin's side march relentlessly on.
CF Montreal were doing all they could to keep pace with the Union and would have had the perfect start in Chicago were it not for Gaga Slonina, the 18-year-old keeping out Georgi Mihailovic with a wonderful save. But Montreal are on a roll, 7 games unbeaten, and Ishmael Kone got it out of Slonina's reach. The game was soon slipping further away from the fire.
Kyoto takes it! Wow. What a goal! Oh, does he fancy himself?
The Honduran hotter than he's ever been, with his 6th goal in the last 4 games. But things changed when his teammate Kone was sent to cool off. A second yellow for him, and Montreal would play the second half with 10. Time for their goalkeeper to produce heroics. Sebastian Breza keeping out Fabian Herbers, and to Ezra Hendrickson's growing frustration, producing an even better save to stop Carlos Terán. All departments working well for Montreal, 2-0 winners.
NYCFC's win at Chicago last week kept them in touch of the leading pair in the East, but Orlando are on song and they soon led, Junior Urso surviving an offside check to fire Oscar Pereira's side in front. A heavy storm subsided during half-time, but the drama continued. Antonio Carlos ventured forward until he clattered into Nicolas Acevedo. The result, a straight red card for the Orlando defender initially, which a review downgraded to yellow, a significant reprieve, which the hosts didn't have long to enjoy before they were pegged back. NYCFC upping the tempo, and Thiago Andrade finding the perfect pass for Maxi Morales. And it was 1-1 between these familiar foes. Last weekend, an 89th minute goal from Tesho Akindele gave Orlando victory at Charlotte. He left it even later this time.
Tesho Akindele again! Orlando have won it at the death!
At Red Bull Arena, another clash between New York and Florida, and Inter Miami soon on top in spectacular fashion.
A thunderbolt from Gonzalo Higuain.
But not for the first time this weekend, a red card would change the momentum. This one for Miami's Alejandro Pozuelo. The referee's instinct was to see it as a mere misjudgment, but it looked worse every time you saw it, and Pozuelo was sent off. Without their new star man, Miami began to struggle, and a familiar face would take advantage.
This ball comes laid off perfectly tilted and a shot tie game! Lewis Morgan!
Without a win in 4 home games, the Red Bulls were determined to seize the moment.
Chance by Edelman and it's in! Daniel Edelman, his first goal in MLS!
Having taken the lead, perhaps the Red Bulls were too keen to keep the pressure on. Kyle Duncan arriving only fractionally late, but late enough to get a second yellow card. Now both sides were down to 10. But the Red Bulls weren't put off their stride, and a subtly created goal would seal the points. Dylan Nealis using his head and Caden Clark his left boot to bring his side a first home win in nearly 2 months, ending Miami's 5-game unbeaten run.
It was Derby Day in Ohio, and with just a point between the two teams in the standings, the stakes were high. The game matched the occasion with something for everyone, including a moment to forget for Brandon Vasquez. The Cincinnati striker had to wait just 2 minutes to redeem himself. Luciano Acosta's vision rewarded for Pat Noonan's side. Vasquez's first ever MLS goal against the Crew. And a lead that held until the final 20 minutes, when the game really kicked up a gear. After 8 goals in as many games, Cucho Hernandez revealed the other side of his game. A perfect delivery for Derek Etienne to dispatch, and Columbus were level. Not for long though. 3 minutes later, a long throw into the box caused chaos, which Acosta's trickery couldn't exploit. The more direct approach from Matt Miazga and a helpful deflection paid dividends. The defender's second goal for the club in as many games. The Cincinnati coach might have suspected his team weren't there yet, but they should have been 2 minutes from time. The persistence of Sergio Santos created a golden opportunity for Dominic Badji, but his first touch let him down, and Darlington Nagbe was able to block the shot. A let-off for Caleb Porter's side, but only if they could find an equaliser. And in the last of 6 minutes of added time, Jeff Cameron's clearance fell just right for Steven Moreira. All square in the hell is real derby after some heavenly entertainment.
To our final game, and another vital one between playoff chasers Charlotte and Toronto. Kerwin Vargas with a gallant attempt to claim the Goal of the Season award. And this began to feel like a day of what might have been for Charlotte. Early in the second half, thousands in the crowd and striker Vargas began celebrating what they thought was the opening goal. But Kamil Juszwiak had hit the side netting, and reality bit soon after, as Toronto's main man did find the target.
There's a shot from Insigne! Off the crossbar and in!
A 4th goal in 5 games for Insigne, who'd begun his MLS career against Charlotte 5 weeks before, on a day when TFC fans also saw Federico Bernardeschi make his debut. The 2 Italians delivered an away win, this time by 2-0.
That defeat for Charlotte saw Toronto and Atlanta move ahead of them in the East, while Cincinnati are up to 8th. Despite the congested standings, the top 7 all remained unchanged.
In the West, LAFC's lead has been cut to 6 points, while Minnesota climbed above Dallas. Nashville and RSL also swapped places, and Portland leapfrogged both Vancouver and Seattle.
So the Timbers claimed the Cascadia Cup, while Austin sent a message to the leaders.
This is Driussi with a lovely turn. That golden touch emerges again.
And for the second week in a row,
6-0 Union.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.